it still has the original unsilenced Mopar air cleaner. And unsilenced, so that way when it goes, whoa, whoa, jump in this thing and see what it'll do.
Ready to rock this, bro?
Come down, slow papa. There ain't no way out. Upside head down, blacked out and hit the ground. Then they found him cold dead. Paid a whole town blood red. Raised a bull on a snake.
Ah, the old school bubblegum machine, the light bulb. That's what you would see if you was hauling ass in your rearview mirror, is that blue twirling light in Alabama. If you've watched this channel for a while, you have seen this car. This is a 1968 Highway Patrol Coronet, Dodge, big block. And this is an official Highway Patrol car, because this is a WK41. That K in the VIN tag means Policia, which means it got white doors on a black body and tan interior with rubber floor mats. Yep. No thrills in the Highway Patrol car other than what's under the hood. Yep. This thing was gonna need to be chasing down them hot rodders. So what did the Highway Patrol do? If I can get the hood open. There we go. Big block Mopar. Yep. This is a 383 HP. So this thing was 335 horsepowers from the factory. And no, the police cars weren't hopped up hotter than that. I mean, this is still OEM. But you can tell this one has been sitting for a while. Now, the police cars did get, and not all of them, you know, a lot of police cars were city cars, commuter cars around town. They didn't get the big blocks. They didn't get all the high performance goodies that the Highway Patrol cars did, because, you know, they were just city cars. But this doohickey right here, oh yeah, it even still has its original electric fuel pump to help with vapor locking as it's sitting on the side of the highway waiting for that victim to get a Policia ticket. And how the police knew you was hauling ass is they had a certified speedometer. So that speedometer right there says certified speedo. So that means it was calibrated to be more accurate. So they would chase you down, follow you. And that way when they wrote the ticket, they could see, you know, they put down, according to the certified speedometer, you was hauling ass. Now, they didn't have radar guns, so they still had to assume you were hauling ass, you know, if you whizzed past them real quick. But this thing is so unmolested, it still even has its Motorola radio. I mean, how many times was this button pushed to let the other officer ahead of time or down the road know, hey, black 69 RT Charger headed your direction, 150 miles per hour. Yeah, it's a little bit of exaggeration, but how many times has they radioed ahead with that specific radio? So this is just a really cool car. It's an unmolested piece of police history. It's freaking cool. And I drug this car home from Alabama using my General Lee. Yep, pulling the trailer with the General Lee, I hauled a police car home, what was it, 2,000 miles. Actually, we took it to my sister's place in Georgia, and then I hauled it home. So yeah, it was legit like 2,000 miles that this thing was pulled back. And you know, I had Kilroy on the window, and I had In Hot Pursuit on the back glass, but you know, that was, oof, I want to say 4 or 5 years ago, and so that's all done. Sun's evaporated all that. Now here's the reasons for this here video. I sold it. I know you guys probably thinking, what the hell? I thought she was going to do something with it. I thought she was going to chase the General Lee and all that. And you know, I had the thoughts of doing that. Of course, you know, this paired with the General Lee is the wrong era of police car. You know, they used like the late 70s Monacos and stuff like that for, you know, chasing General Lees. This would have been kind of era correct. Actually, this would have been era correct for like Vanishing Point. You know, I want a white 70 Challenger, and I was going to use this to chase it, because this would have been correct for that year of movie and the year of cars. This one, however, it needs a little bit too much work to kind of do like a YouTube, you know. Well, first of all, this would have been a very short will it run and drive, because I would have put the breaker bar on the crankshaft and it would not have moved. It wouldn't have moved with the starter, and this is why. This car has been sitting since 1972 when it was sold at the police auction, and it sold for $250. The reason I know that is I have the paperwork from that auction sale. I'd have to dig it up. It's in the house somewhere, but it so, and in Alabama, humid climate, engine that's been sitting 50 freaking years, that engine is locked up tighter than hell. It is not going to budge over. It's not going to be, this engine would have to be pulled out, rebuilt. And you know, this channel doesn't make the money on the videos and to deem rebuilding this car to running driving condition. It would just, I mean, I'm probably looking at like $6,000–7,000 at the minimum to make this a running driving car. And I mean a legit running driving car, not just running 1 or 2 wires, you know, brake error, just plopping in some stock junk 383 I found off Marketplace. No, I mean pulling this engine, rebuilding the entire brake system, the engine, you know, getting the cooling system flush, rebuilding the radiator, going through all the wiring, the exhaust. It's just really costly. And so I actually wanted a 70 Coronet police car more, and I found one. So actually, it's not a real police car, but it's a 70 Coronet 2-door, and that as a and the car's already white, so all I got to do is paint the front clip, the rear clip black, put the bubblegum machine on top, and I've got what I want, a 70 Coronet police car, because there was a couple 70 Coronets in Vanishing Point that was chasing Kowalski. So that's kind of the main reason I'm letting this go, is to go buy the other car. But look how intact this thing is. This is really for somebody that wants to restore it back to original, because how many of these still exist? These cars were sold at auction, parted out, scrapped, junked. They don't exist anymore. There's so very few of these that I've only seen 3 other 68 Coronet police cars that still exist. And the only thing that I have seen that's robbed from this car is the H-code wheels, which those are Hemi wheels. I mean, H-code is what was used on Hemi cars. They were a 15-inch steel wheel. So of course the wheels were robbed, and that's probably the only reason the guy bought the car from the police auction. Took the Hemi wheels. And the siren is gone. Now the relays are still there, but the siren itself is gone. This is in fact a Hemi radiator, 26-inch radiator. See, normally a non-AC car would be a 22-inch radiator, but this being the high performance highway patrol car, they stuffed in the big Hemi radiator. Those part numbers are gold. That's what the Hemi guys are wanting. But that's original to this police car, so it's got to stay like that. So, yep, this car was ordered with the high cooling package. It's a manual steering car because you don't want to rob horsey powers, you know, chasing down that big block Charger. It also is a 3-speed wiper. Why? Probably because it rains like a mofo in Alabama, so they want to have the 3-speed wiper. But this also does, not only does it have the go power, but it's got the stopping power. This is the factory Bendix 4-piston disc brake setup. Yes, 4-piston per wheel. It's like a cast iron Willwood brake caliper with, you know, 4 pistons. So these things are actually super sought after, and so is that brake booster. Yep. Pretty, not super rare, because you could have ordered several cars. You could have ordered your car with that setup, but that's factory to this car, and El Fender Tago says what this car had in it. I was thinking this was going to have a sure grip, but no, it doesn't. You know, since it's pretty much just a highway car, cruising car mostly, you know, it doesn't have the sure grip. The reason I know that is under the X right there would have been, there would have been a number under the X. I believe it was 8. I can't remember exactly what it is, but there would have been a number under the X. Maybe it was a 1, but the 68 Fender tags are harder to decode because there's not as many decoders out there for these Fender tags. But I do know that underneath that X there would have been a digit letting you know that there was a sure grip. What else have we got under this hot rod here? It also still has the HP big block exhaust manifolds. You know, guys would have stolen those in a heartbeat. Again, just such a cool freaking car. I mean, it still has the original unsilenced Mopar air cleaner. And unsilenced, so that way when it goes, whoa, whoa, you hear all 4 of them barrels open up. So no sissy silenced air cleaner. Still has its Tree 80 Tree original carburetor. Just, it's a manual, you know, I already said manual steering, but, you know, and no thrills inside the thing. Bench seat front, bench seat rear, but it also has the 60 amp alternator. The reason it was 60 amp alternator gauge, because the police cars had a higher amperage alternator in there. It would have been cool if it had a tack in it. See that blank right there? That's where the tack would have been. But this was a non-AC car, heat only. So, yep. The officer in Alabama in the summer, you know, they was looking for a tree to hide under for some shade. And, you know, this being an Alabama car, it's not super rusty. This was not a coastal car. You know, it was a rain car, mud dirt road car, you know, because it does have some rot in the lower quarters. And, you know, and the trunk is rotted out. The, well, the trunk's not super rotted out, but it's rotted out enough to where, you know, you got to replace it. The trunk lid, yeah, it's got some rot in it. The tail panel has a little bit of rot in it. You know, but that's, it kind of goes with the territory. I mean, it's almost 60 years old, or wait, whatever, it's old. But, you know, I just wanted to show this car and tell you guys why I sold it. And it's just a really cool piece of history to where it's better off in somebody's hands that wants to restore it versus me just getting it running and driving and taking it out and beating the ever-living hell out of it. You know, it's 108 yeah, degrees. Just after saying it was too hot outside, the GoPro shut off because it was overheated. So I'm gonna make this short before it shuts off again. But yes, really cool car, belongs in the hands of a restorer. You know, I don't need a real police car. I can just make a clone and have fun with it, with what I want. Plus, I'd rather have a 2-door than a 4-door. And I can put my light bars and paint it up how I want. But really cool car, and I'm glad it's going to go to somebody that appreciates it for what it is. And if you're thinking, what did it sell for? It sold for $8,000. But, you know, you're thinking it's a 4-door. You know, it's not worth that much. But it's a rare 4-door. It's a original big block Hemi radiator, 4-piston caliper, all original, unmolested, intact police car. Where are you gonna find that nowadays? I dare you, find one. You can probably find some 70s C bodies, but this really hard to find. And so that's what I sold it for. It actually sold in, shit, 3 days. Bye-bye, police car. It was cool. I had my fun with you. I got lots of pictures with the generally pulling it, but I'm letting this one go. It's too big of a project for me. And not that I can't do it, but financially for YouTube, and I'd rather have a 2-door. I'm just going to let this one go. Or you know what? Here, we'll do a quick will it run and drive video. Nope, it's locked up. The end. Look at all the spikies that come with the car and all the rat shit. I told the guy that is all free. I'm not gonna charge extra for that. And those little spike balls, those things suck. They have, like, when they go in you, they don't come out. They got like burrs on them, microscopic burrs, where you really got to yank on them to pull them out, and they hurt like a mofo for such tiny little thorns. Those things are the worst. And he has to deal with it. All right, guys. Well, you will no longer see the 68 highway patrol car in the background on the videos, because that car is leaving tomorrow.